Pam Bondi for Attorney General. Wait, if you're getting whiplash, you should see me. I tried uploading this video about 6 times and the news kept changing on me. I'm John Mike Keene. Let's start with Matt Gaetz before he withdrew his name.
Gaetz deserves a chance. I've served with Gaetz. He and I came into Congress together at the same time. He's very smart, and he's been right all along about the abuses of the deep state. Donald Trump was elected with a mandate to go in and drain the swamp, and I think that the Department of Justice deserves a guy like Matt Gaetz to come in there because they've violated the public trust. They've committed many abuses of power, and we need someone to go in and disrupt it. Matt Gaetz is who Donald Trump chose. The American people chose Donald Trump, so I think Gaetz deserves a chance.
And now this just in, after all of that work on Matt Gaetz just withdrew his name from the Attorney General nomination. Here's his tweet. I had excellent meetings with senators yesterday. This is Matt Gaetz. I appreciate the thoughtful feedback and the incredible support of so many. While the momentum was strong, it's clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition. There's no time to waste on a needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. Thus, I'll be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one. I remain fully committed to see that Donald J. Trump is the most successful president in history. I will forever be honored that President Trump nominated me to lead the Department of Justice, and I'm certain that he will save America. So after all that, and we have said that this is one of his options, was to withdraw his name, that it's better to withdraw your name than to go before all of the big, committee and then have them vote you down. So now Trump will pick another attorney general. So he has plenty of time before, he takes office. And this does spare him some trouble. And Matt Gaetz was always his riskiest appointment. So this is sort of good news. And then now it's up to, what does Matt Gaetz do? Number one, he can always be sworn into the 119th Congress, which Mike Johnson is preparing because Matt Gaetz has already been voted in. So he only resigned from the 118th Congress. Now he can just step right into the 119th Congress. He could also get appointed to a Senate seat by Governor DeSantis, by Ron DeSantis. I assume he's going to take his position that he was voted for. Okay, so there's Matt Gaetz withdrawing his name, probably because he's guilty of the charges and probably because he couldn't fight it. And so then they're going like, well, how long is it going to take for Trump to pick someone else? Well, within a couple hours, he already put out Pam Bondi's name. So he already had a list of alternates. He had to have them before Matt Gaetz withdrew his name. And I'm sure Matt Gaetz didn't just withdraw his name, but I'm sure Trump said, you need to withdraw your name, because there weren't enough Republicans to vote for him. And it would be too much work to try and change their minds. It would be too big of a buy. Here's Pam Bondi and why she's a better candidate, certainly a prettier candidate.
Pam Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear, because she's competent. We may not agree with her ideologically, but she actually knows how to do this job. So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice was thinking, well, maybe Matt Gaetz will screw this up and that'll give us some time. No, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing about immigration. Remember, Florida is one of those states that's been very aggressive about migrants and deportation and moving people to different states and everything else like that. Florida has enacted all sorts of rules and laws to curtail students and what they can do on campuses and finding legal justifications for manipulating education money. She is a dangerous and effective pick, and that's frankly worse than what we would have got with Matt Gaetz, even with the deplorable moral background that he has.
Yeah, and I want to discuss that with a little more depth with both of you, including her record on civil rights, LGBTQ rights, and other issues that are front and center at the DOJ, and which we know were also big campaign issues this cycle.
I'm sure her top of Pam Bondi's mind and every other politician's mind is, what are her LGBTQ rights stances? No one cares. Democrat Party stuck in the past. We're going to go back to Matt Gaetz and just watch him carefully in this segment when they ask him if he's going to be confirmed. I believe he knew at this point that he wasn't.
How have your meetings been today, sir?
What can we ask? What your
They've
message
been going
is?
great. Senator's been giving me a lot of good advice. I'm looking forward to a hearing. Folks have been very supportive. They've been saying we're going to get a fair process. So it's a great day of momentum for the Trump-Vance administration.
Any reaction to the ethics committee? They said they're not going to release the report after their meeting today, at least at this point. Any response?
I'll be honest with you. I've been focused on what we got to do to reform the Department of Justice. I've been meeting with senators. I haven't been paying much attention to that.
Have you briefed President Trump at all?
I haven't talked to the president today, but had a great time with the vice president-elect talking about how we're going to end weaponization at the Department of Justice. We're going to tackle fentanyl. We're going to ensure that we don't have the DOJ involved in censorship anymore, and make sure that we get the country back on track and are there for President Trump's total fulfillment of his promises on an immigration agenda.
Are you confident you can get confirmed by the Senate? Do you feel like
It was a great day.
That's a very interesting answer. It was a great day, meaning he did not say yes that he knew he'd be confirmed. Instead, they put him before the Democrats and Republicans, and they flushed out all the scam Republicans. The Biden DOJ, not the Trump DOJ, the Biden DOJ intensively investigated possible crimes by Matt Gaetz after 18 months of leaking to destroy his reputation in the press. The Biden DOJ decided they couldn't even charge him and closed the case. Now, I believe Matt Gaetz went to a bunch of Republicans behind the scenes and they asked him, "Did you do it?" And I think he said yes. This could put his regular seat in jeopardy with the 119th Congress. So we'll see if he bows out of that or if he stays with that one.
Our former colleague, former Representative Gaetz, is not here to defend himself. So let me speak on his behalf for all Americans accused of any crime at any level. I refer you again to our Constitution. Every American has the right to be recognized as innocent until proven guilty. Representative Gaetz has certainly demonstrated that he is a brilliant litigator, is a highly qualified and brilliant man. And to attack him with accusations by name in this committee is wrong. The man's not here to defend himself.
Look, we know that the Democrats and even some of the Republicans do not care about people having an affair. This is widespread in our government. And to pick out Matt Gaetz, they're only trying to do an end run around him being Attorney General. And strangely, it's the Republicans, many of the rhinos, that are giving him the most trouble. So now Matt Gaetz went down. And it wasn't because of Democrat lack of support. We know the Democrats won't support, but the majority of Republicans, he couldn't get enough of them on him. And 4 of them went against him. For sure, it was Murkowski and the lady from Maine and Mitch McConnell and one other. And if he loses those 4, he loses the majority.
Gaetz's enemies, funny enough, aren't so much from the left, which is a granted assumption. Gaetz's detractors come from within the last dredges of the Republican establishment.
And he's putting this back on topic, that this is about reforming the government. To me, I know that I'm a conservative Christian, and I don't approve of how Matt Gaetz or anyone conducts their lives.
Pam Bondi is, without a question, qualified to be Attorney General. She's been a prosecutor for 20 years in Florida. For 8 of those, she was the Attorney General of the state. That's a very big, very complicated job, and that level of experience is on par with or better than most United States Attorneys General that we've seen over the past 50 years or so.
That's all we got right now. I'm John Mike King.